Lazy loading is a technique in Angular to load components asynchronously when a specific route is activated. Let's say if there are 50 routes in the Angular app and you don't need all 50 routes to be loaded when a particular route is requested. So it's better to load the routes when requested to the client rather than loading everything at once. So it is a good technique to optimize the performance of the applications. So let's look at a demo on how to configure the lazy loading in Angular. Let's say you have an application worth of 20 MB, 20 MB, but the user is trying to access one page out of all the 50 pages. Let's say this is one. So there are, other pages in your website like this. But while loading the first page, while he is trying to log in, is he needing, does he need the last page to be loaded onto the UI? This page, maybe it is 50. He's trying to access this first home page. Is it important to load this also to the client? This is all not important. Okay. The best strategy would be load something from server whenever it is requested. So if it is page 2 requested, load only page 2, then page 3, then page 4, then page 5, then page 6. So you loading in bits and pieces would make sense rather than loading everything, every image, every asset that you need throughout the site is really doesn't help, right? Okay, I've entered the Angular folder, then I'm creating ng new lazy sample project. Yes, I need routing. So I would use CSS, just installing the packages. Good. Okay, we got it. Okay, now whenever the first module is loaded, we get this default routing module without any routes in it, right? So this is a starting point for any kind of any application. So typically there is no I haven't seen a case where we needed to replace replace this routing. Okay, so let me create few more pages here, so that we can make some dummy routings and other stuff. Okay, so ng generate module route 1 module hyphen routing. We have got another module, that is route module. So route 1 we have created. Let's create route 2. We got route 2 as well. Nice. Now we got a module and a routing to it, but the routing is empty because we haven't created components. We just created modules. So next, ng generate component. Now this time we are trying to create component routing route 1, right? That's what we did. ng generate component route. But before we say create a route component, we should say route 1/route 1. So it would create a component called route 1 component in route 1, and the component that is created is already updated here. Now let me go here to the routing module, import the same thing. I need to create the first route. So whenever this module is visited, whenever the path this module is open, then I want to resolve this component. It's simple. There were no routing earlier. It was just auto-generated module. Now I have added one more route. Nothing fancy, and I've just created one component and added that component to the routing. So the first, whenever this module is visited, this is the component that should load first. So that's what I did. Good. Now about route 2. Now TWO TWO component is created in route 2, and that has been imported in module. And I'll copy this, go to the modules and create path. My bad. It should be an object, comma, component. Okay. Now these two are different routes. That means different pages. Okay, altogether. And these, just like app module, these two also have module and routing. So whenever this routing is triggered, the default thing should go to route component. That's the configuration I did. Or in this case of route 2, it is route 2 component. That's the configuration. So remember when I said when I explained lazy loading, if route 1 is requested by user, route 1 will load. So when route 1 is loaded, what is the default component that should load? That is this component. So that's what we did. Okay. So now it is time that we start implementing lazy loading. So now I don't need everything here. Okay. Now I need what? This is it. Okay. Let's try to run this application before we, implement lazy loading. Let's make sure that, application is running smooth and no more surprises. I'm sorry, 4200. Okay, the app component loads. Now, here we need another set of routing. So how do we do that? We need, another route down below. Router outlet. Now, whatever the routing that you would put here will actually load here. So first I'll do what? The usual way of, defining a path, route 1. The way is via component. Now we are not doing that. We are doing it with load children. Create a function, import then the module that you need to return is route 1. Now this is the configuration to load lazily. Okay, this entire module will be loaded and replaced. And your lazy loading module, it is important in your lazy loading module, you need to have one set of default routing. So the first component that you wanted to load should be part of the routing. So if you are loading a module with a lazy loading like this, that particular module, the route 1 module or any module for that example, should have a routing implemented on it. So like this, a routing module already implemented on it, and one default routing that is already set. So this will be the default route that will be loading when this route is triggered. Okay. So save it. And we have another route to route 2 in route 2 and m dot route 2 module, and it will have route 2 component. So now I come back and button. So like this. So I have route 1 router link, route 2 router link, and I have router. This is where the lazy loading pages should load. So route 1 and route 2. Let's go and verify everything again. Come here. So yeah, the first mistake, it should be route 2 because both the load children cannot be configured to one routing. Otherwise, the latest will be replaced. So now we have two routes, two modules, and being loaded onto this outlet whenever there is a button click happens. Go to my application. I see two things. So click route 1 works, click route 2 works. So what happens if I want something to come, directly by default to route 1. So you could set that default routing here. So that means if I come to page, neither route 1 or route 2 is being selected. So if by default I wanted to load this route 1, whenever there is a request for this main site, so you could simply do that with path redirect to, what is the value for this string? That is route 1. Simple enough. Full. Yeah. So it is asking me this configuration is missing, because if you want me to redirect to this, this should be a part of the string or should be the whole, this is the whole string. So that should miss, I should say path match full. It should match the full path. So this is the full path. Okay. So now by default, even if I come here, by default, it is automatically redirecting me to route works. If you are able to see, that's fine. If you are not, so and let me just refresh it. I removed it. I came to the main site, but it is automatically this code automatically redirecting me to this page. What if I want another set of routing in this, route 1 module? It's pretty easy. No, you don't have to do anything. Again, go here, generate a component. Okay, route 2 or route 1. Okay, maybe route 1, maybe another component. One, how I'm confused to pick a name. Maybe route 1 sub. There's another component that I just created. Okay, what I did, route 1 sub, there is a component that I just generated. I go to routing, copy this, go to the modules, and then you create another path sub component, route 1 sub component. Okay, now if you come here and if you say sub, yeah, sub works. Route 1 works, route 1 sub works. So you can have a route inside route, a route inside route, a route inside route. If you want another route inside this route, you can have one more lazy loading module here. Okay, you can load children here again, and you create another module and create another module and create another module and go on. So you need to figure out, this one level step of routing, and then I think the rest of the things will be easy. So I think you can create few more things and it'll just work as it.